Why, hello there. Thanks so much for joining us for the Long Comics Book Club, a bi-weekly podcast about long comics, also known as manga and graphic novels. My name is Shane, and I'm the older brother. I'm joined by Spence, the younger brother. Spence, I'm tired of asking you how you are. We are mixing up the standard script, and so Spence, you have Superman's powers for 24 hours. What do you do?
That is the question, isn't it? Question posed. What can you do with just 24 hours? Because I feel the strategy here because realistically you can't make that much societal change. You should go scientific, fly as far into space as you can,
Yeah.
go discover. I think that's what you do with 24 hours of
Yeah, just
Superman's
make sure you
power.
time yourself well if you're
Oh
flying.
yeah, 100%. Who knows how relativity works with
Give
this all
yourself
stuff
a
though?
give yourself a bit of a buffer. I was thinking maybe you could also like swim super deep or try and get to like the center of the earth.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's also, yeah, those are
Yeah.
interesting. Those are interesting investigations. But if
Uh,
you're wondering what on earth are they talking about, well, you must be new to the show. In which case, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Because for the first half of the show, we'll be talking about the long comic we read over the past 2 weeks. And today, of course, that is All-Star Superman, hence the question of the week. We're going to give our reactions, takeaways, and discussion points for All-Star Superman, book club things. And then for the second part of the show, we'll be chatting about some of the other visual media we've consumed recently. And there might be a little bit more Superman on the menu,
that
considering that,
that there might.
yeah, what a coincidence that we're doing a Superman when a Superman just came out. It's almost like it was planned as
Yeah.
discussed on the last podcast.
Search engine optimization.
Yeah, that's what we're all about here, optimizing the search engine. So to make sure you avoid spoilers, I'm going to include time codes in the episode description. And of course, we'll end the show with Spence introducing the long comic for the next podcast, which will be coming out on August 2nd. To be notified of when the podcast is out, you can follow our Blue Sky or Instagram at Long Comics Book Club. We also have all of those links up on our link tree. I have recently revamped our link tree. It's cleaner, it's nicer. Go check it out. Take a look. We're also pretty good at being on time with Blue Sky, but if you really want up-to-date, on-the-minute updates, Instagram's the place to go. So drop a follow to those accounts if you haven't done so already. On our link tree, speaking of it, there's also a link to this website called VesperiaComics.com because Spence, of course, is the owner and proprietor of Vesperia Comics, which isn't just an online store, but it's also physically located at 1935 West Broadway in Vancouver, British Columbia. Spence, any updates from the shop?
Yes, actually, we actually really going to be two here with you mentioning that August 2nd is going to be the next podcast. Because first up, if you're reading this, watch or listening to this right when we begin, right as soon as it goes up, you still have time to make it to our signing we're going to be doing on Saturday. Which is, yes. So Cloudscape Comics, local comic book publisher from here in Vancouver, is going to be doing a signing with three artists: Jonathan Dalton, Emily Gossman, and Scarlet Wings Kali are all coming in for a signing. Really looking forward to it.
How exciting. So that's on, if you're wondering about what time are we talking about, this is July 19th we're talking.
It's
And
going to be
then
from 2 to 5.
there you go, 2 to 5, July 19th, 2025, in case you're listening to this years in the future. But that'd be pretty
Yeah.
wild. And if you're someone who is really on the ball with doing your listens, that's great. If you want to be the first person to listen, we're consistently dropping these podcasts on the date scheduled at 9 a.m. So get your alert on, get your alarm on to make sure you don't miss it.
Yeah.
If you've already missed your alarm for this one, that's okay. Now I can set it for the next one on
Yes,
August 2nd.
because which is brings my other point, which is that but right around when the next podcast comes out, so we will be at Anime Revolution here in Vancouver for that convention.
Wow. Is Anime Revolution on August 2nd and 3rd?
Yeah, it's on what's first through third.
Oh, first through third. Cool.
Yes. So
Wow.
come say hi. Well, if you're from Vancouver, you probably there's easier time to just come say hi. But if you're from out of town coming for Anime Revolution and happen to be listening to us, come
Come
show
hang
up.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come hang out.
Why go find out what the store is all about? Be in person IRL.
Yes,
Not just a
exactly.
voice on your radio, but a real boy. And if you are interested in long comics, go to Vesperia Comics. And speaking of long comics, let's just jump right into talking about the long comic of the past 2 weeks, All-Star Superman. No trigger warnings really necessary for this one. If you are
Mm,
interested in reading it, there's violence, but it's pretty low key.
Yeah.
Don't have to stress too much. There might be some other themes in there, but it's not a very heavy book. Well, we'll get into that.
It's
But
philosophically heavy. It's not
yeah,
very, yeah,
it's not very visual image explicit heavy.
no.
That's the way we'll put it. So if you haven't read the book yet and you want to avoid spoilers, this is that opportunity to look at the time codes and jump ahead. And if you haven't read the book but want to listen anyways, that's excellent. And maybe this conversation will help you decide if it's worth picking up. So Spence, kicking us off, why did you choose All-Star Superman for our long comic?
Well, I wanted to do a Superman comic. We got a Superman movie coming out or came out. And like, especially in comparison to Red Sun, this is much more like of a classic Superman that both like looks at it in a modern age, but also like very much acknowledges the whole history of Superman. That
Hmm.
like it's not in main canon, but it like very much everything about like all aspects of Superman are like really treated, especially the older like Silver Age, Golden Age kind of stuff.
Hmm. Wait, this isn't main canon?
No, oh no.
What is this?
Well, you can't really have spoilers. Can't really have Superman die at the end, or air quotes die at the end of main.
That's true. Well, except didn't he actually die in main canon at some
Yes, he
point?
did, but don't the death and return of Superman. That's an
Is this something we don't talk about?
no. Well, honestly, the death and return of Superman isn't that bad of a story. The problem with the death and return of Superman is what it caused for the comic industry.
Ah,
That's an entire
that's a whole
other.
other thing.
That's an
Okay.
entire other conversation. But
Got it.
yeah,
So that's good to know then. So All-Star Superman is very much its own offshoot thing, as like a
yeah,
what would happen if Superman was dying?
yes,
And it turns out what would happen is you would have an anthology of Superman's greatest villains and friends all
yeah,
getting their individual moments is
yes,
what would happen.
yeah. Superman completes his 12 labors, and there's
Which I
one.
didn't register. Wait, so are there 12 comics in
Yeah,
this
so this was originally it was a
um,
12 issue miniseries, and each labor is one yeah,
one comic?
each is
Okay.
one comic. And yeah,
Okay.
and I've like seen like people on the internet, you can find like lists of what exactly each of the 12 labors are, and they're like,
Right.
yeah,
Interesting. Okay. I guess so. So you mentioned the movie that just came out. Is it just called Superman?
yes, just Superman.
Okay.
So
So All-Star Superman. Why is he All-Star here? Give me
well,
some insight.
did I explain this last time? I honestly don't remember. So All Star was like supposed to be a big like reboot kind of thing for DC to like let's take our best writers and make them not shackled by canon, let them do whatever they want. And they made two of them, which were All Star Superman and All Star Batman.
Hmm.
All Star Superman was very like yeah, was very well received. People loved it. Apparently, obviously, we don't have to worry about this now. When it was a complete nightmare when it came out, like release wise.
Oh.
Like I think it came out over a period of like 2 years.
Oh no.
Like it was huge, and All Star Batman had the same problems as well, but also was not well received in the slightest.
Hmm.
I definitely remember mentioning this last week.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a revamp, but
But then the point is they like kind of just killed the All Star brand after this because I think it was just
mhm.
too much of a headache. And then yeah, like I think even technically like All Star Batman was never finished.
Interesting. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious about that, but I mean, I'm all for getting rid of it. It's a terrible name.
Fair.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's just, why is it not Dying Star, Superman Light Fading, Superman, I
Yeah.
don't know, something
Yeah.
along those.
Well, we'll look forward to when we start talking about the absolute books later because that's the current like reboot thing title DC is using right now. And those are
Okay.
really well received though and really popular. So there is a roughly 0% chance we don't end up doing an absolute book at some point.
Interesting. I didn't realize that they really use, so comic industry really uses acronyms in front of name. to
Yeah,
separate
well,
and
yeah, because it's you can only make something called Batman. Like it tells people this is a special thing of Batman, thing, a special thing of Superman, and lets it tie in together with the other ones.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll take it that. So that's what sets All-Star apart. It's not that this is, well, I guess it is an All-Star Superman because this is not the Superman I know. Since when does my Superman have electro powers?
Well, the '60s were a weird time.
Hidden
Yeah,
genius.
but then also the All Star I think also refers to the writer because this is our
Um,
first because kind of accidentally we basically been going through like the first event like one thing from every like comic book legend so far because
hmm.
Grant Morrison is absolutely a comic book legend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do a name shout out. So All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison, as well as Frank Quitely. Uh, Shout out to those two for All-Star Superman. And so you're saying, so this is the first thing I wanted to find out. So in this story where Superman's going through his labors because he's gone too close to the sun and now he's dying, and he has overcharged his batteries kind of, and so he has extra superpowers, but it's also causing him to turn to
Yeah.
light. Okay. Um, this is a thing that happened before in the 60s, you're saying.
Well, more the electrical powers thing.
Okay.
Like, because in the '60s, Superman, they just randomly gave Superman all the random powers, whatever they wanted.
Why not?
Why
Eye
not?
beams, freeze
So,
breath,
yeah,
electric
well, that
powers.
see, those are the classic ones. The '60s also gave him things like super muscular control, so he can like personally mold his face into any shape he wanted, and he
Whoa.
could shoot rainbows out of his fingers, and they would turn into a little Superman. That is a thing that 100% happens.
I have questions. I now I need to find the 60s Superman to go find mini rainbow Superman.
Yeah.
What's that one called?
I
Superman Leprechaun
uh,
Returns.
yeah, no, I'm sure based on how the '60s work, it showed up in one comic and then was never mentioned again.
And of course it was in canon and everyone pretends that it wasn't because
Yeah.
we're not ready to try and handle that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the
Uh,
whole Superman count. Well, the funny thing too is now how super comic book canon works is it's always like whatever you want, like whatever the writer wants to be canon is canon.
hmm.
They can take stuff from old stuff, they can ignore it. Doctor Manhattan's causing weirdness to the multiverse. That is literally the explanation of why they can use canon like that.
Dr. Manhattan like from Watchmen?
From Watchmen. Yep.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe someday we'll do Doomsday Clock, which explains all of this.
Okay, all right. Maybe we'll see, but yeah, I think that that certainly speaks to something I noticed with this one, which is the not standalone nature of this book. So, what you're talking about, how there's certainly some threads that often come up in comics that connect to other things in comics, is very much the case in All-Star Superman. Uh,
Yes,
I
but
was
they
kind of,
also they aren't direct threads. Like, because
they're
some of the
pretty
work,
strong.
but yeah, but more to the point, like some comic books you'll be reading it, and like there's a chunk of the story you have to read that was in a different book. There's
Hmm.
none of that. It's all just like characters and stuff from the past you're bringing
Yes.
back.
Yeah. So that is what it is that you're right. It's
Yeah,
not that it's specific story beats, it's understanding the characters and the things. So I think the Bizarro one is a really good example of that. When Bizarro World comes
yeah.
and there's things I don't know about Bizarro that I was extremely confused by what was happening, that Bizarro's the planet, not the person, the villain. I thought Bizarro was a villain.
Yeah, no, Bizarro is the villain. Bizarro World is the planet.
Okay, but Bizarro's not there. There's just like a bunch of other Bizarro
There's lots of
things.
Bizarros. Yeah. This is
Okay,
also getting into the weird like '60s-ness of the comic book
gotcha.
because Bizarro was a big part of the '60s, and then they go into the
Hmm.
whole like yeah, Bizarro World, everything's backwards in Bizarro World.
So he has to say everything in negatives and
Yeah.
yeah, which was interesting. Yeah, I guess I was kind of expecting this because it's its own independent run that it would sort of have some of that more explaining these characters, but nope, which
Yeah.
is okay. But I think it is certainly helps me sort of understand this one and maybe why it didn't land as well for me, but that's just because I don't know a lot of these background character pieces,
Yeah,
whereas I can pretty clearly see that this is really like a love letter to Superman and
very much
Superman
so.
fans. So it's like if you like Superman, if you know what's happening with Superman, this must be wonderful. This must be a great little everyone
Yeah.
gets their shining moment. Whereas,
Yes.
whereas me, I'm like, what the heck is a Mr. Quigley? And why is he wearing a rainbow coat and he's everywhere? And what's an underworld? And I had a lot
Uh,
of questions coming up.
Underverse, but yeah, but also in
Underverse.
in that same like what I was saying about the 60s and stuff. This is a lot, yeah, even a love letter to old Superman. This is not gritty post-death Superman with his long hair and his edginess. No, this is a calm, good guy Superman.
Okay, that makes it. That can certainly pull up the nostalgia factor. That makes sense. So then this is it does because it does feel like that. It does feel like it's more of a
Yeah,
calm, non-controversial Superman. uh who's just trying to like make peace with the fact that he's dying and
yeah.
spelling out his last will and testament and he opens up to Lois Lane and um it is very insane to me during the Lex Luthor one that Lex just like doesn't realize that Clark Kent is Superman.
Oh yeah.
But
Honestly, I was surprised how much I had forgotten about this comic. The one thing I absolutely remembered was everything about Lex Luthor. It is my favorite part by far.
oh, it's all the Lex Luthor stuff.
I love the Lex Luthor stuff. It's so out there and it's so perfect. Well, yeah, like Lex Luthor just it's the idea that Lex Luthor like it can't even comprehend the idea that Clark Kent might be Superman.
Yeah, it does come across like he's just fully in denial
Yeah.
that it's not that he hasn't figured it out, it's that he for sure has figured it out, but
Yeah. So
it's
there's another famous old comic book about like Super Dex Luthor creates like the greatest computer ever. They can figure out anything, like has all the data of the universe. And the first thing he asks is who is Superman? And the computer spits out Clark Kent. And then he goes, "Well, I screwed up. Clearly the computer's wrong." And then destroys the computer because he clearly screwed because how on earth can Clark Kent be Superman? That makes no sense.
it's so fun. It's very like comical and ridiculous that
Yeah.
you have it does certainly add an element of levity when you have the genius guy who can do everything and it's just like he's ignoring the most obvious thing in the world.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
that part too of where he walks in and is like, "I'm going to discredit you by saying," and then he walked in. There was a baboon in a Superman outfit. It's like that line has lived with me. And then he walks in and says like, "Hello, whatever that guy's name is." Oh, I love that part.
I didn't get that part. I didn't understand.
You know, it's he goes in like, "I'm going to discredit both your publication and the prison industry by what I'm about to do. By like, you are going to print that there was a baboon
Oh,
in a
baboon in a
man's
Superman costume.
yeah
What a move.
yeah power move.
Yeah, power move. But it was really interesting that it's like an anthology and that it makes sense that so it is the 12 labors that they do talk about that the future Superman sort of like warn about. But it doesn't feel like it's super cohesive. It does feel like you could really read most of these in any order. Uh,
Yes. Basically,
but
other than like the first and like I think the final two or three make up
yeah.
the other of them could be in any order.
But otherwise, it's not like there was like a really clear through line throughout it.
Yeah.
Uh, there were certainly times where it just like didn't it just came across as he was just doing his normal Superman thing and it didn't really have anything to do with him dying, which is fine, fine too. Um, Certainly some weird moments with like the Krypton people that came,
Yeah.
and then they were pretty quickly dispatched, and then they got sent to the Phantom Zone, yeah, all in a very short time frame. Like I understand we're working on a we're working on a time budget, but boy,
Yeah.
that was when I was like, okay, they're just trying to wrap up every single plot line within one story. Uh,
Yes.
which is true. I guess that's part of why they're relying more heavily on known characters and known stories because they need to be able to move through these things pretty quickly as well.
Yeah.
Uh, what was as someone that is really a comic aficionado, how are you feeling about All-Star Superman? Did it
Yeah.
stir the heartstrings for you?
I did enjoy it a lot. Yeah. I thought it was very good. It was weirder than I remembered. Part of what I
Okay.
forgot was because Grant Morrison, he's got ideas, man. God, he has ideas, and some of them are just so weird.
Like,
Like,
you give an
yeah.
example.
Okay. Well, let me just double check to make sure. Yeah.
The ideas you're thinking about in All
Uh,
Stars.
no,
Yeah.
it's more thinking for other stuff Grant Morrison had done. Because he's probably his most famous weird thing he wrote is a story called Final Crisis, which involves like there's an ongoing joke that no one actually understands what happens in Final Crisis because it's so weird and out there.
Hmm.
Because there's like vampires that are eating the book as you are reading it. Like you reading it is a aspect of the book, and the vampires like need you to turn the pages and then are destroying the pages as you have moved past them.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Fourth wall breaking.
that's the level of like yeah, and he's like big on like dimensional things and
I was
like
gonna say
this
it's
how
the
the seventh
3D movies
dimension
of the
yeah
book universe. The
yeah
3D book. Well, I'm pretty curious about that. That's interesting.
yeah
There's certainly some interesting ideas in here. There's some odd stuff going on. Yeah, the Bizarro one I lean on a lot. Just using a quickly built rocket to blast off of a planet.
yep
It's with a match being slowly run by the Flash. I don't know. There's a bunch of weird stuff going on. The anti-Flash, whatever. Is what it is.
yep
But I'm glad, yeah, I can see this being something that someone who maybe read Superman growing up would really enjoy. Especially if this came out after a heavier period, to be
Mm,
able to go back to a period of levity. Fair. Nice to be
yes
able to get into, but if
which is
someone
kind of interesting too because then like the main series didn't agree with this at first like this was like a uh um what's the word this is like a blip of levity in the main like Superman went back to being dark and gritty and stuff in the main series.
Right. Anyway, it's
It's only
not in
like
our main story.
yeah, but then like not the modern stuff is much more people have just kind of come around a lot more on Superman being nicer.
Hmm. I would hope so. He's
Yeah.
Superman. That's kind of like his shtick.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean that's very much his shtick in this as well. He's just
Yeah.
a nice guy.
Yeah.
Trying to do his best and do his right by everyone. I don't know if there's a lot of interesting character stuff in here. It's really just about Superman and Lex is the most interesting, but he's also not like developed.
Yeah. Well, Lex Luthor is a one-dimensional cartoon villain. That's kind of his entire shtick. Kind of has been, but they kind of can make some really interesting stuff with that.
Mhm.
Like and another remember thing I totally like I said, I remember Lex Luthor stuff. The stuff I remembered the hardest was like at the end, Superman just breaks in and like, okay, I'm dying, Lex. Prove to the world that I actually was holding you back.
Mhm. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I wonder if he would. Well, the world, or I assume that there must be a plot. Oh, I feel like we've talked about this before. There is a plot where Lex actually does. There's no Superman and Lex. Well, I guess we did see that in Red Sun. If you're
Yeah.
curious about what it is like when there is no Superman and how Lex Luthor acts, go listen to our Red Sun review because that's the post All-Star Superman, I guess, kind of technically. That'd be the post All-Star Superman world, but
Yeah.
yeah, not too much to
Yeah.
say there.
For the record, though, also, Red Sun did come out before this one.
That, interesting. Well, there you go. That's a good middle one too, and the tie together. Yeah, I don't know if I would recommend either of those. Well, like we talked about before, you can read Red Sun as a one-off. You don't really need to know those characters at all. Just get into it. This one, nah. You start hearing about that tiny city again, and if you don't know what's happening,
Bottled City of Candor.
the candor thing is weird. What a strange thing that I feel like keeps on coming up. It's like a really big important thing to talk about is this little tiny city, and I'm like, I don't really get why is there so much focus on this tiny city so often? But
Because other than Superman, it's the last vestige of Krypton.
oh,
Yeah, says it's a Kryptonian city.
oh, that's why they're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That makes I understand. Okay. Uh, yeah, and visually, it's a comic book. Looks like a comic book. Speaks like a comic book. Quacks like a comic book.
Yeah.
It's lighter colors. It's not sort of the heavy, dark imagery that we were seeing in
Yes.
like Batman and like some of the like scrappy things and
Yeah.
uh past pastiches. Does that make sense with Hawkman? Or no, not Hawkman, Hawkeye.
Okay. Yeah.
No, it's just
Yeah.
what you expect to see uh when it comes to Superman. It
Yeah.
looks like
But
a
like
Superman.
the art is works with like because like the softer tones and stuff really do fit the yeah, the nicer story that it is. Like
Yeah, the like sweet send-off kind of story that we're
yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. It does match up visually and tonally. It all tracks, but all that to say, so what's the point of it? What kind of takeaway are we supposed to have from this story? Is it supposed to just be a story, or is it supposed to be like this is what would happen if Superman was dying and we take that seriously? Is it trying to give some sort of moral or insight into the character? Why do you think we have this?
That's an interesting question because like I think it's supposed to take Superman like try to show Superman and like that whole Superman's always kind of been like the counterpoint to the whole absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Hmm.
And I think it's kind of like trying to take that show. Like, what would Superman, a man with absolute ability, yeah, complete absolute power, to be able to do anything that he wanted if he's running out of time? And like,
Hmm.
try to show, and I think it works really well because trying to show, like, it still maintains Superman doesn't break under his end time, like, his imminent death.
Hmm.
He still saves being Superman. And I think it's very nice.
Yeah, because he feel it's I guess it's all about him being feeling like obligated. Is that kind of like Superman's thing that he feels like obligated to help, and that he feels
I,
like obligated to fulfill these labors because he was told that he did them.
I think it's less Superman's less obligated and that he just wants to.
Hmm.
Superman doesn't feel like he needs to help. Superman wants to help.
Right. And he also wants to help in a very specific way that meets the standard that was set out for him by his future selves.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like we were also saying, I think there's also some value here for it being a callback to a different Superman, a different time.
Yeah.
Um, Being able to invite maybe in some people who hadn't read comics for a long time or who took a break.
Yeah, it'd be really a really interesting one to compare it to. I don't even know if it's still in print, so I don't know if we'd ever do it for book club. But the Alan Moore did a comics book in the like 1999, I think it was, called Supreme, which which was like so Supreme was like a Image knockoff comic about Superman, but then Alan Moore rebooted it to be like the most love letter to classic Superman ever made.
Hmm.
And it's a lot of this is the same idea. And like it gets really meta into like all the parts of Supreme of like Supreme is like, "Oh, what's happened? We somehow my world is changing because I've been rebooted again." And he's like aware of all that stuff that's happening around him.
Hmm.
And like not in a comic way, in like a dead serious way.
Yeah. And then he eventually turns into a brand that's essentially a criticism of overconsumption and capitalism. And he is also red and white.
I don't know what you're referring
Yeah,
to.
the brand Supreme?
I don't know. I do not
You
know what
don't
this is.
know the Supreme
I
brand?
don't know the Supreme
That's
brand.
insane to me.
Am I
Uh,
am I am I not down with the youths? I spent too much time reading comic books and don't know what the
Supreme has literally been going since like the I don't even know how to explain this. Established 1994. Um, yeah, they're the ones that like you stick this like red logo with white lettering on something, say it's
Oh
Supreme,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
and you can
Right.
charge like $500 for a hammer. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, those guys.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny. So you were talking about it is interesting it's the same coloring as Superman. Well, I guess Superman's red yellow. Uh, but
Superman's more
This is neither here.
red,
Okay.
blue with yellow highlights, but yeah,
Okay. Not red, white, and blue. Distinctly
yeah,
red, yellow, and blue. Interesting. That's neither here nor there. But more of an interesting. There you go. Supreme.
yeah.
Superman. Supreme
It's
Superman is interesting.
so
Supreme as a brand
Supreme.
is depressing.
Yeah, Supreme, the comic book. Cool read if you can ever find it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's out of print and all that at this point. But yeah,
Yeah, but okay. There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you can.
I do own a comic book shop. This is probably the kind of thing I should know. But yeah,
So there you go. Some independent research for you to do after this. Uh, so then overall, All-Star Superman, do you think it's fair to say it's for a specific cohort of people, or do you think it is like anyone who's interested in learning more about Superman could pick it up?
I think if you're like truly interested in Superman, I think it would be an interesting read. I think if you don't know anything about Superman and you want to see if you'll be interested in Superman, it would be a terrible decision. But if you're into Superman already, I think it's a really cool, yeah. Or
Yeah.
or like, or if you know who Superman is, and you want like a more nicer take on the character. I think
Hmm.
this is one of the best, probably the best one for it.
There you go. Yeah, I'd say it's for a specific group of people. Not for everybody, but those that would enjoy All-Star Superman would really enjoy it.
Yes.
But if you're like me, who started a podcast to learn more about comics and insight into this world, and therefore don't have a lot of insight, uh, this is not for us, fellow listener. It's cool to read, but it also is the kind of thing that can really breed some frustration because you don't know why Jimmy Olsen has a watch that can summon Superman with hypersonic sound.
Hey, the
And you just
Superman watch is a classic part of the character.
okay, okay. But if you weren't aware of that either, then I'm right there with you. We're all learning things together. Uh, there you go. So that's All-Star Superman. That's a little bit of review, a little bit of thoughts and insight into it. Interesting book. And cool to sort of think about that Superman character. So speaking of the Superman character,
Yeah.
and speaking about other content that we've enjoyed the past 2 weeks, Superman by James Gunn.
Yes.
How does that Superman compare to this Superman?
They are very similar. And there's even a bunch of like direct homages in the movie to this one.
To All-Star
Uh
Superman specifically?
yep. Oh yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
Okay. There you go. I guess if you're going to go see James Gunn's Superman, maybe read this first so you can say you get the reference. I don't know.
You really don't need to. And
Okay.
honestly, the similarity is only really in like tone of character
Hmm.
because it is as I think the part of the point was that it's a very like powered down to earth take on Superman,
Hmm.
which is very much not All-Star Superman. This is the
No.
most, but still,
Most
like a lot of the more
powerful.
60s wackier stuff, like Superman robots and the Fortress of Solitude and Crypto the Super Dog.
Yeah. Superman robots. Yeah. Yeah. Nice to have a not overpowered Superman. It's weird to read where it's also like his brain is overpowered. That's kind of confusing. Okay, but how was James Gunn's Superman? What do you think of that?
Yeah, so I very
The,
much
re-
enjoyed it.
the
Was
freshest
yeah,
reboot.
yeah, good reboot. I think it's probably the best Superman movie. Period.
Does
Even
this include things that Superman is part of, such as Justice League, Batman
well,
versus Superman? I don't.
yes, it would, and because it is better than those ones.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
I like it more than the Christopher Reeves movies, but obviously those have an entire like history behind them that makes them a little harder to directly compare.
I'm not familiar with this at all.
Christopher Reeve, those are like the old set movies from like the 70s and early 80s.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
because
those
Christopher Reeve,
are important because of why?
oh, because like they were made at a time when like comic books were like a thing for like it really put superheroes into like a level of mainstreamness that
Okay,
like yeah, just weren't quite there, which got really blown up even more with Batman coming out like 10 years later.
got
But
it.
Yeah, the original Christopher Reeve Superman movies are hugely influential and just like honestly cinema in general, like early 1970s,
Hmm.
like fantasy that would be like an accepted genre of film that like because that and then Star Wars came out like that and Star Wars came out within like a year of each other
Okay. So what
and
was sort
that
of like genre defining?
genre defining.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Interesting.
yeah, but also like watching them now, they're a little like we've kind of
We've developed green
we've
screens
developed
that are
past
better
this
than
time.
this
Yeah,
at
well,
this
like
point.
not
Yeah.
effects are fine. It's more like I kind of like having action scenes in my superhero movies, you know?
So demanding, so needy. Okay. Are there action scenes in the new Superman?
Oh, very much so.
There you go. How are
Superman
you?
does punch some guys.
Whoa.
Spoilers.
PG, watch out.
Yeah.
PG warning. Oh yeah, I heard that there had to be like a edited version. I think it was in India because it was too sensitive.
Yes, because Superman kisses Lois Lane at one point.
Whoa, spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. They had to cut that out.
Uh,
Yeah. Then apparently they also cut out like
I'm not cutting that out.
the bad guy punching Crypto got cut at one point.
Whoa.
Yeah, because they didn't
Okay.
realize people don't like
Hitting
dog.
dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, but very, very goofy.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
Also, I think unquestionably the best Lex Luthor ever in film by like a mile.
is
Because
that
like
because of the actor, because of the writing, because of
but
both?
all of the above, and also not the hardest competition on that one.
The bar is low. Ouch.
Well, Gene Hackman's fine, but also like refused to shave his head for the role. So
Which is kind of the most iconic part of Lex Luthor is his bald head. So,
yeah,
way to go, Gene. Way to goof it. Okay. And so, how do you, this is one of my qualms with remakes. So, it's just called Superman again.
yeah.
So, is it that you always have to say the director names that you say the year? What are you going to be using to identify this from previous Superman?
I think you calling it James Gunn Superman's probably the best one. It'll be
Uh,
either be James Gunn Superman or Superman 2025
yeah.
because
Okay.
we kind of already refer to the old 70s one as Christopher Reeve Superman, but I
Hmm.
think this feels more like James Gunn than David Cornswet. Is that wow that
David
yeah
Cornblath, yeah,
yeah
who hasn't been in a lot of things from what I'm
no
looking at with IMDb. So
yeah
good
which
on him for landing
I
like a mega budget, mega important role.
which for the record I always loved when you're doing a big thing like this and bringing someone relatively unknown in, absolutely the way to do it.
Yeah.
Like I hope whenever they pick the new James Bond, I hope it's someone I've never heard of.
Hmm. Ooh. Oh boy. That'll be something else. So how are we feeling about the DC reboot under James Gunn? How long is it going to last?
Oh, I have decent hopes for it. And
Okay.
we're getting a second season of Peacemaker. That'll be
Yep.
great.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
If you haven't
And
watched season one of Peacemaker, it's not for everybody, but for the people who it's for, it's fantastic. It is
yeah, so good.
one of my favorite superhero media things. Probably my favorite TV slash film superhero thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
it's
think I would agree with that.
yeah, it's great. It's super funny. John Cena's great. I think that he's really solidified himself as the actor to properly transition from WWE to act
Yeah.
like proper. Well, I guess Dave Bautista as
Yeah,
well.
which is funny too,
Actually,
because
Dave
and also
Bautista is
both
probably even higher
yeah,
because
it's
he
one of the
does like
two of them.
dramatic roles.
And which is even funnier too about both of them got their like resurgence from James Gunn.
Oh, there you go. In superhero things.
Yeah.
That's there you go. Well, John Cena had done like a bunch of comedy one-offs and stuff.
Yeah, but
But
I feel Peacemaker's like that perfect blend of he can do his like comedy stuff, but
that's
still
true.
gets to be like action man.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. But yeah, something else to look forward to. Season two Peacemaker. It is the summer of sequel. I mean, I guess it's
Oh,
the word.
it's always
It's
the
a
summer
world of
sequels.
sequels. New Squid Game's out. I haven't finished that yet, but
Oh,
Spence has.
I liked it. I'll wait for you to see
Wait for
it
me to catch
for
up. Okay, so no spoilers on there, but Squid Game's there. There's also a bunch of new anime season two. So what's
yeah. Oh
back?
yeah. Yeah. My Dress Up Darling, Dan to Dan, Kaiju number 8, Call of the Night. Bunny Girl Senpai, Sakamoto Days,
Something I'm realizing with
Dr.
everything that
Stone,
we've been
Grand
talking
Blue.
about is that, and I don't, is this, maybe this is for everything in general, but I don't think anything we just named is just like universally anyone could really watch it. It's really for specific people who would be interested. Like, would I just recommend Dan to someone off the street? No. Would I
No.
recommend Squid Game? No, even though everyone knows what Squid Game is, it's not for everybody. Um,
Yeah.
so is that just sort of the trend now is like no one makes things that are just like universally uh
Yeah.
except well, I guess the new Superman being the exception to that kind of thing.
But
Where,
but yeah, but the death of monoculture is definitely a thing people bring
hey,
up.
that's kind of a interesting
Yeah.
topic
That
right at the end here. The
yeah,
death
yeah.
of monoculture. Yeah, everything is really hyper focused and you're looking to drag in subculture investment.
Yeah. Well, it's because we just don't have people aren't all concentrated on the same three TV channels anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, so there's not quite the level of one thing doesn't have the ability to become like the universal centerpiece that it was to our culture that it was even 30 years ago.
Which I really mourn. That I really
Yeah, but
love.
also I think it needs to be pointed out that this isn't some long-standing death. Monoculture's only existed for like was only a thing for like 100 years.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
because
It was
people used to be all sequencered by region, but now everyone's being sequencered by like interest. It's
interesting. Okay.
yeah,
And
that like
political view and that, oh, but
yes,
it used to be because of access and now it's because of algorithm. Whoa.
yeah, but also like if I want to listen to a song from genre X, I can find that song. I
Hmm.
can find more songs than I could ever listen to in genre X.
Right.
But the days of having to be like everyone's listening to rock and roll because that's the popular thing just isn't a
Hmm.
thing anymore.
Hmm. Which was a fun time. I think I've talked about this before about like monoculture and like the birth of the internet and memes. Like how cool was that we were all knowing the same memes at the same time? And now it's like a meme. One meme is gonna work in one subculture, but it's not gonna work for everyone. Just like
Yeah.
monoculture memes don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And
And to be
like
fair,
what
you're also
a
getting older and you're probably less chat
how dare you?
less in I
I
know.
am touched. An old man yells at clouds.
But yes, but like you're not as down
The
with whatever
youth did this.
the most youth the most whatever the most popular things are with the
That's
internet. So you're
that's true. That's a good point.
yeah.
I guess I'm not up on my Fortnite dances and my
Yes, you don't know your Fortnite dances. You know, don't know what games are hot on Roblox.
that's true. I don't know. I didn't think Roblox was like a real thing for a long period of time. I thought that was something that like what, like preteens played, but is Roblox like, I guess it's like massive. Like I'm still confused
But here's the
by
thing: it is massive, but it is only a thing like only preteens play.
I don't get it.
It was truly the thing that made me go, huh? So I guess I am not following video games like
Yeah.
universally anymore.
Yeah, you're out of the Roblox loop. You're no longer cool. You don't know
Yeah.
what's happening and what's happening.
But also like I am not sad I never played don't play Roblox. That game sounds like an absolute nightmare.
It doesn't it just sound like a worse version of Gary's mod as we're starting to date ourselves?
Basically, I like a more predatory version of Gary's mod.
Yeah, with like oh yeah, there's a bunch of like
Yeah,
microtransactions.
yeah, and
Yeah.
apparently a huge pedophile problem too.
Boo.
So like
A huge what problem?
pedophile problem.
Oh, gross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's a bad like
Oh man.
I am not to judge anyone, but like I would recommend you not getting your point your kids towards some other video games.
Yeah. Okay. And yes, to be to be clear, we do heavily judge. I yeah, there are people we will heavily judge in terms of what their actions and culture, but
Oh yes,
you mean in terms
but
you
I
don't
was more referring to like
I don't judge certain parents.
if you're a parent and your kids want like some parents kids are just going to do like play
It's true.
Roblox like
Well, yeah, it's also when you don't understand the technology and have like the insight into being able to like protect your kid from those things, that's also hard when you're trying to
yeah.
like I'm sure I'm gonna run into that. I mean, I'm sure our parents ran into that. When you think about what access we had,
Oh
I
yeah.
think they dropped the ball. So, as well.
I think they
Uh,
also did pretty well on all things considered.
yes, but I just mean in terms of like technology access and like oversight and stuff, because everyone's sort of like figuring it out at the same time.
Well, that is the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but how interesting. Wow, how on earth did we get here?
Yeah.
What a journey, what a trip.
Yeah, the chains of going from Squid Game to monoculture to Roblox
To
to
Roblox, yeah, Superman, yeah, all over the place. I mean, what classic book club discussion, Roblox. And so now, as we're winding down towards the end of the episode, of course, we need to introduce what's next on the reading docket. So, Spence, what do the fine folks at home and I get to look forward to reading next?
well, I thought let's go an absolute classic to go with.
As opposed to Death Note.
As opposed to, well, Death Note is a classic. Let's go even classic here.
Okay.
Let's go with the first volume of Dragon Ball.
Whoa.
Not Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball.
Ugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
More specifically, the first little like they come in little 3-in-1 books now. And
Oh.
and realistically, only really the first two. Do you want to do all three? Because really the first two is like the first arc.
We'll just do whatever's in the book.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the first three of Dragon Ball.
The first three volumes of Dragon Ball. When did that first come out?
The
Probably.
80s?
Wow. Okay.
84.
All right. There you go.
Let us go. Yeah, this is 40-year-old, 41-year-old comic book.
41 year. How
Is that, I think that
manga?
makes it the oldest, yeah, the oldest thing we've done so far.
I would say so. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
like
how exciting.
year one was also from the 80s,
There
but
you go.
I think this was even older.
Yeah. Wow, Dragon Ball. Okay. Well, that should be an interesting read, interesting discussion. So, if you're also interested in reading Dragon Ball, the first three volumes, you can order that at VesperiaComics.com for pickup at Vesperia Manga and Comics if you're in the Lower Mainland of beautiful British Columbia. You can also order that for Canada-wide shipping. But of course, we also realize that the buying of a new book every 2 weeks isn't always financially viable for everyone. So consider inviting a friend to split costs or borrowing the book from a friend or local library if it's available, like I did.
Yeah,
All-Star Superman.
you got the college, you got it from the library this time.
Yeah, I walked the walk, I talked the talk. It's legit. They have great stuff at the library. They have comic books, they have graphic novels, they have manga, they have video games, they have movies. The time limits you're allowed to rent the video games is very limited, which is challenging as an adult. But
Yeah. Do you remember back when we were teenagers how you would rent CDs from the library and then just
and then burn
download them
them.
on
Heck
download them
yeah.
onto iTunes?
That's how I got what Lincoln Park did I get that way? Lincoln Park
Uh,
Midnight That was the one that I remember the
the one
most.
that has what I've done on it.
Lincoln, I think it was midnight something. Minutes to midnight. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are, man, talk about us dating ourselves. Yeah. Those are the days. Go to the library, rent CDs, burn
Yeah.
them. Uh,
Listen to them on iTunes.
yeah, listen on them on
I,
iTunes.
I still use iTunes.
Hey, no disrespect. I don't have
Hey,
time for that anymore, but uh those are the good old days. Yeah. Minutes to Midnight Lincoln Park. I also remember I think I got Feist. Is that someone the one that is like 1, 2, 3, 4? Tell me that you
yeah,
love me more. Okay, yeah. Those are
yeah.
the two that I remember the most distinctly as renting from the library.
I also remember Kansas. Carry on, my wayward son.
Yeah, this was from the library? Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. There you go. All that to say, go check out your library. Go see what things they have. I don't think you're gonna find CDs. I don't think that's around anymore, but
Probably not.
they do
But
still
you
have
never.
movies for sure. They do still have video games. You can rent them for like 2 days. So maybe
Oh,
you have a
for
weekend pretty free.
eh.
Go rent a video game. Just rock it for 2 days. Why not? Because after all, it's free unless you keep it for too long. Uh, so so that's just our what fun. But that I also recognize as our Canadian library insight. I don't know what kind of library system you have in what country you're from. I hope that it has the same sort of benefits and access and uh, catalog that we are fortunate to have
Yes.
access to here.
Which even also with us living in Vancouver, probably also we have a good library system. I'm not sure how like the library of Moose Jaw compares.
Yeah, that's a good point. You never know though. Hey,
Yeah.
if you're up in Moose Jaw, or if you have want to tell us what your library is
Dude,
like,
dude, if you're in Moose Jaw, tell me how wrong I am. I would love to be.
yeah,
Love to get called out on that.
jump in the comments. Let us know. Tell us what's hopping at Moose Jaw Library. The MJL. This is I promise this will be my last very small, very quick distraction. Um, but I just wanted to share that I'm part of the Richmond Public Library, who has the web URL of yourlibrary.ca. So like, dang, Richmond, Richmond got the good one.
Which, to be fair, it's a .ca, so only competing with Canada.
That's true, but still within Canada, your library
Yeah,
seems like a
hey,
pretty
yeah. Richmond beats out Vancouver. Richmond beats out Montreal. Richmond beats out Toronto.
yeah. It's our library. That's funny. I wonder what the Vancouver library one is now. Uh,
Well, I guess more to the question: what if I type in library.ca happens?
VPL.ca. That makes sense. That is their acronym after all. Okay, distracted by
Oh,
library things.
library.ca doesn't exist. Probably someone's squatting on it, would be my guess.
Yeah, I would assume so. All right, that's enough about libraries. That's a wonderful, long, meandering, fun book club discussion, and that's it for episode number 13 of the Long Comics Book Club. Thank you so much for listening. You can follow our Blue Sky and Instagram for updates, as well as join us to share your thoughts on All-Star Superman or next week's Dragon Ball, not Z/Z Dragon Ball, the original Dragon
Original
Ball.
Dragon Ball. Which also for the complete, I know we're supposed not to be doing tangent, but the fun fact is that there is no in the original manga. There's no differentiation between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. There's all just one continuous series.
Huh.
Yeah, the Z thing was added for the anime.
I feel we should have like a little like the more you know about it like throughout these podcasts. I feel like that these are
Yeah.
just constantly littered with fun facts.
Yes. We we
Uh,
we we ex we hope you learn when you're listening to us.
yeah, this is we should start filing this under educational. All right. Well, we'll chat with you more about Dragon Ball on the August 2nd podcast, and I will look forward to talking to you then. Bye bye.
See ya.